hopefully that'll work. Well, I say that's the correct washer. That won't actually go over. Right. I'm going to have a little bit of a research here. Hopefully that will then all go in. Well, here we are, back in the shed. Yeah, another little video on the B31, getting that back to its original state, or at least as close as we can get it anyway. So this video will be refitting the rear wheel. You might be thinking, that seems like rather a long video, just to fit the rear wheel, but yeah. We had a few little issues, shall we say. We're getting it back in, but yeah, we'll see how we get on anyway, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, I think I'll start doing this rear end. I've got the sprocket on here, which is the original rear sprocket the bike came with in the BSA Ariel hub. Yeah, went to put the chain on and it won't go. The sprocket is too wide for the chain. Right, this is the original front sprocket, which I actually replaced because, as you can see, it's quite worn. The rear one isn't too bad, and you can see that will go on there nicely. Right, that's a 1/4 inch chain. This, I could probably keep all these old bikes and not strip these bikes down. This is the original chain that was on there, which will go on there. However, put it on there, slop them around all over the place. That's a 3/8 chain. So that's a 3/8 chain, which means that's a 3/8 sprocket, which B31 shouldn't have. It should have a 1/4 inch, which is why I've got a 1/4 inch chain on there. Because before, or when I swapped this before, I put a QD hub on the back with a 1/4 inch sprocket. Yeah, not thinking that this one might be wrong. So I think what I'm going to try and do is get this in the lathe and see if I can take this down, because basically the A group bikes had the 3/8 chain and sprocket, or sprockets, front and rear, and the B group had the 1/4 inch chain, 1/4 inch sprockets. Yeah, so yeah, could try and get another one of these, but yeah, they are quite expensive actually. And like I say, that's not too badly worn, so I think before I do that, I'll try and trim that down, because they're exactly the same sprocket. Yeah, so I'm going to have to try and take a little bit off each side. I'll have to get that set up in the lathe and do that. The only other alternative would be to buy an A group front sprocket, which would be 3/8, and a chain, 3/8 chain, because this chain is, well, of unknown quality. Oh, and that's a Reynolds chain actually, but it has got a split link already in it. Yeah, so it would have 2 split links in, which is not a good idea. Yeah, so yeah, that's the two alternatives: either a new front sprocket, 3/8, new 3/8 chain, or a new 1/4 inch rear sprocket. If I can't get this down in the lathe and get it to be okay. Yeah, and if I did put a new front sprocket on, that would mean I'd have to take all the primary and everything off again, which yeah, don't really want to be doing that. So I think, yeah, get this in the lathe and yeah, see what happens. Right, I've been mucking around with this, trying to get it to sit square. And that's about the best I can get it. A lot of the trouble is this is not only cast, but it's been hand painted as well, so that's never going to be spot on. But it's only about 10th hour either way, so I think we'll be okay. And what I'm going to do, decided, is just take it off this face here. I've had a look at some photos of these, and the 1/4 inch one does seem to be thinner this side than the 3/8 one. And the other thing is, the back side of this is fairly level, so there isn't much I can take off there anyway. So I think if I go for this side, if I do need to align the chain, I can always put a bit of a spacer in just to bring that over. But yeah, I think we'll just go for it and see what happens. Right, let's do a bit steady, I think, with it. Okay, taking that down, I now need to put a chamfer on like there is on this side, on here, on this edge, and then once I've done that I just need to get in with the file and take all these burrs off, Yeah, and hopefully that'll work. But yeah, I'll just use the compound slide and just get a little chamfer on here. Right, there we are. Got a little angle on there. Don't think I want to go any more than that. Right, so just got a little bit of a. That really would have been a little bit flatter, but I couldn't really get the angle. You know, the angle would be more like that side, but that'll be fine. Just need to go around with a half round or round file and take all these sharp edges out, and then well, try on the chain. Right. Fits on there a treat now. It's not grab or anything. Should be okay. And I did just run a file over the back there, just to take the surface rust off. Right, so I think bear them back in and continue getting this rear wheel in. Wheel bearing is in. That's the stub axle. Just goes in there, which is a pretty good fit. In. This has two flats, and I did get the correct washer to go on there, which has got the little flats in, which I didn't have before. Well, I say that's the correct washer, that won't actually go over. Ah, right, yeah, that's supposed to be the right. That's not actually going over there. Should I just go back to what I did have in there, which was this spacer? Yeah, right, I ain't made that very well, have they? Right, spacer. Actually, that is a little bit. I could have done with a bit more, really. Yeah. Right. Well, we might have to mess around with spacers anyway, mightn't we? So, I'll just got that chain on there. What I really want to do is find this straight edge and I'm going to do that, am I? I have to put it in and then put the chain on. Which is a tight bit, there we go. Like that. Yeah, I think what I'll do is just put back what was on there originally, which were all made up ones, because I know they fit, don't I? That, and then see, that is supposed to fit on there as well, but that doesn't. Actually, that is, yeah, that. I wonder if that's got a different stub axle. Because these parts here are supposed to fit there. Neither of them do. I'll check the sizes. Right. Yeah, see that little wash. I need to make that a little bit wider anyway. Let's have a look. See if we can get this round. because threading that back through is no bloody joke. You bugger. Oh. Right, we're round. Yeah, what I really need is my straight edge to check this alignment. I mean, eyeballing it looks okay, but you know. Right, we're looking along there with eyeball laser 1A. That don't look too far out. I think what I'm going to do, get the wheel in, see how it feels. But yeah, that ain't too far out anyway. If it is out, it's not too far out. Put it like that, because yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, right. Wheel. Right, now I just need to, what I'll do is lower this down a little bit, just to make it a bit easier. Let's start the lift up. Where are we? Supposed to go in. I can't remember how I took this wheel out, you know, so long ago. There's not a lot of space there. Let's turn that up again. Too far. Not a lot of gap there. Not a lot of gap there. Yeah. Sure that needs to be in there. Let's spin round once that's on, because that's in the way. I don't want to go on. Surely you don't put this on. You do. Perhaps you do. Can't see it myself. No problem, really. Right, it's got to get into the stub axle, you see. Over the stub. stub axle. Studs. Line up. Like that. Just a hole because I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. No, that ain't going to go on, is it? How do you do these? I thought the idea of these was that you could take the leave the sprocket on there. Right, let's try something else, which I'm sure is what I tried before and that didn't work. And that is put the stub axle in. That come off here, that must go on. I'm doing the chain again. Let's get that back out the wheel. Let's get the chain out of the way. Right. Chain is going to have to go on afterwards. I've got to figure out how to do this. Isn't a lot of room to spare, I'll tell you that. This is going to have to come in at an angle. Gee, I don't know how on earth that's supposed to go in there. How the hell? Right, have a look at this. Right. That side, swing arm, brake drum. How on earth? Because you can't knock that in. There's a spacer in the middle, which comes out on here. Well, you could, but you'd have to take the bearing out, which would kind of defeat the object. You can't get. I don't know how you do this. I took it off, you know, but I can't bloody remember how I did it. I'm going to have a little bit of a research here. It's a bloody mystery. You cannot get, I'm sure you cannot get enough angle to hook that in and bring that up. You won't get that on once that is in. Tried that. That's weird. Very weird. Can't put this side in first. Strange. Right, Google. Right, So we got this. Yeah, the way I tried it first was the correct way to do it. I checked on the BSA owners forum, and yeah, this should go in first, so it should just go straight in apparently. I think I'm just trying to be careful not to scratch any paint, so yeah, I'm probably concentrating more on that than getting the thing in there, so that will have to be a bit more. I wonder if I put the centre stand down as well. That might have been in the way a bit. Yeah, because I have the centre stand up because I'm on the. Because normally you do it on the centre stand, wouldn't you? Right. Let's have another go. See if we have a bit more luck. Actually, I'm wondering whether that was what the problem was. That is going in a much easier so far. And the other thing is, this is in the way. Let's turn that to the bottom. There isn't a lot of room to spare, you know. It's still tight. Let's just have a little measure up. Let's go through there to the end of the stub axle. Yeah, right, that's the space we got. Now if I stick this through here, basically got yeah, that's basically not enough room. I think what I need to do is angle this to get the hole this side on first. It's the stub axle that's the bloody pain. I'm sure that shouldn't be that tight. I wonder if I should machine a little bit off the back of that stub axle, because that ain't going in there. Right. I'll show you the problem. The gap between the end of that stub axle and the inside of this swing arm is narrower than the gap between there and there. So this stub axle has a little bit of a lead in on it. So I think if I knock, I'll take a little bit off the end. No, it's going to be too short then. Can't do that, can I? Ugh. That must go in. It's got to. It came out. Unless this has got squeezed up a bit. Right, I'm now wondering whether this washer in here is maybe too big, although even if I remove it, that's not going to go much further in because you've got this square section. Yeah, see, that's the washer which doesn't go on for some reason. It's meant to go over these flats on there, but yeah, doesn't fit. These were the spacers that came off with the off there, so I'm assuming wait a minute, I wonder if that goes or was it on the other side? Let's see, even then, if that goes in there, have we got any more space? No. Still got the same amount of space in between there and there. Right, thinking time. Right, I think I know what the issue is. This wheel is off an actual Ariel rather than the BSA Ariel wheel. Some bits are the same and some bits are different. Yeah, the internals are different. This internal wheel spacer is about 1/8 of an inch shorter than what it should be. So everything does clamp up. I've tried it without and done some measurements, so everything would clamp up. This goes in between the bearings. Well, with that on the end, it goes in between the bearings, so they clamp. Yeah, so that is 1/8 of an inch shorter than the BSA one, BSA Ariel one, and this is 1/8 of an inch longer, which is why I can't get the hub past. It's catching on here. That's only about 1/8 of an inch difference. Right, so the BSA one is shorter, and I think it also must have a different thread, and is why that won't go on, which is meant to, and that one won't go on, which is meant to, and why these have been turned up by whoever fitted it before I got the bike. Yeah, because that should have slightly different on the Ariel motorcycle. These are slightly different. Right, although this is actually a BSA sprocket, because the Ariel ones are 47 teeth and this is 42, which is correct for the BSA. So that's been swapped over to a BSA one, but and someone's messed around trying to get it to fit, but they made it a little bit too tight. They must have just, I don't know, too tight in there. They must have just spread it to get it in, and obviously when I took it out, I had the QD wheel in there for a while. That's obviously sprung back to where it should be. Yeah, so solution is to make up a little spacer. Can't use this one because I need that, and an 1/8 inch spacer, which is probably what that size is there. Tack it on there so it won't fall off when I assemble, and remove 1/8 inch from there. Yeah, and hopefully that will then all go in. Yeah, yeah, I don't know whether this actually has even been messed around with. Looks a bit rough on that end, and I'm sure that should have a, so that might not even be the original Ariel one. That might be a BSA one that's been cut down and put in. Yeah, so it's a right mix of parts, as these things often are. Right, so what I'll do is get on and make that little spacer to start with, get it on there. Hopefully I've got some steel bar. I can turn one up and then just turn a piece off the end there, because the spindle actually contacts in the end there. There's a little dome sort of part, and on the end of the other, whatever that is, what's in here, there's also a dome part. Yeah, so that all obviously has to line up or fit in correctly. So yeah, I'll just have to make sure that I take the exact amount off here that I add on here. Yeah, exact amount off there on there. Yeah, can't even really part piece off and use that, because you lose a bit, don't you? Yeah, so right, I have to make something like that to go on there. Right, there's that extra bit on there. .63. Yeah, so it should be 2.625, so depending on where you get it. Yep. Right, so I now need to take the appropriate amount off here, which matches up with that. Oh, yeah, goes on there, okay. Yeah, I did just tack it. I did get it off to start with, so I had to just knock it off and put it on again. But yeah, we're central now. Right. So I did write that down somewhere, how thick I made that. So I'll just take that amount off there. Right, there's that piece done. .7273. Yeah, we're not far out. Right. Now for the moment of truth. Yeah, let's get everything together and see if we can get this in. Right, see if we can get this to play ball now. Studs. Spacer doesn't want to go in. I think what I'll do first is tighten up the sprocket nuts. But yeah, that's still a bit of a tight fit, but that's gone in. Yeah, not a lot of clearance there, but yeah, before that wasn't going at all, so sprocket nuts on, and we'll try and get the spacer in. We may need to do a bit of work on that, but got my measurements, that shouldn't be too far out. For some reason these two of these brass nuts haven't got any ends in. And two have. Yeah. I'm not even sure whether they're meant to be brass. So we might just get some new ones of those. Some stainless ones or something, maybe. Right, I'll tighten these up fully, I'll just nip them up. Right, is there enough room to get that in there? Yeah, see that is still, I think it will do, it's just quite tight. If not, I'll just take a bit off the end. Yeah, there we go. Adjuster is in the way now. This is the right spanner either. And then inch and a quarter must be Whitworth size on here. That'll do just to nip it up. Right, well there we are. Yeah, I won't tighten that right up because I've got to adjust the clutch, chain, primary chain, and then adjust the drive chain. So, but we're on. And did that take some doing? Yeah. Right. That's millimetre perfect now anyway.